Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry it's been so long, it's been kind of a crazy past week. So, with this video, there's going to be a couple things. I'm hoping to shoot a video to help people kind of at least get an idea of what they'd like to find in a guitar, or just help them figure some things out. I'm hoping to include some of my friends in this one, or in that one, so I'm hoping it'll be really good, but no solid details yet, guys. With this video, though, I wanted to talk to you guys about using a metronome. So, metronomes they are like the school teachers of yesteryear. You know, you do something off time and they will very quickly correct you and tell you how you did it off time. But there's some cool things about metronomes because they help you develop your sense of timing. And so you can be off beat but still in time. And it does some pretty cool stuff. So I've started recording some songs. I started doing this some time ago, but ended up erasing my computer and I lost some of that work. But I started recording some things again. I actually have my computer up over here. And I was getting really frustrated because when I play a song, I don't normally play with a metronome always. So it's kind of more free-flowing, it feels good. But then when I try to put a metronome time to it, sometimes it feels forced. And it's something I have to work on, but it's something also I've learned that sometimes not having a metronome can be what you need for certain songs. But in this case, we're talking about how you can use one. So here's part of the song, or at least I'm going to play part of the song that I'm writing. And I want you to hear this with this metronome going. So hopefully you can hear this. Pardon me, that's a little quiet. Okay, so you can hear, I hope, you can hear that there's this constant beat going, and which is great, you know, because that gives people a sense of rhythm they're looking for. When you're playing on stage, it can give you that sense of rhythm that, you know, you find the groove, you find the pocket, and boom, you can just hit it. Bad thing is when I did that song, it wasn't quite like that. Like I said, it's more free-flowing, so we're going to try this again without the metronome, and pardon me if it sounds off, but this is kind of more how I do it. like I said, guys, the timing's not perfect on that one. But when I don't play with the metronome, I find that usually it kind of flows, but I catch myself sometimes trying to do too much in that time signature. That's a little bit later, though. With the metronome practice, though, it gives, like I said, it gives you that sense of timing. You know, practice your scales. Practice just picking and fingering at the same time. One of the best practices I can tell you to do is this one. We're going to use the same beat, but one of the best practices for when you're learning guitar is sitting there and picking a note with each beat. Next string. And so on, guys, because what that gets going is your sense of rhythm between your hands. So a lot of guys want to play fast, especially new. I mean, I still do. Want to play fast, but if you don't have the coordination down, it does absolutely nothing. It's going to sound like a jumbled mess. You're going to be picking the wrong strings. Notes aren't going to be coming out. It's going to be bad. I've done that. And I've watched others do it. But in that, practice the basics. Get a metronome if you can. Go to your music store, buy it online, get a metronome, and just set it on a slow beat at first and just warm up. Picking and learn to hit double notes, because some of them, they'll do eighth notes, they'll do 16th notes. I don't know. There might be a metronome that will do, yeah, I think they do 32nd and 64th notes, which can be really fast. But practice, because as you build up, you build your hands, you build your mind, so that as you also start working scale patterns, you start working chord shapes into this, your playing gets so much better. Your mind starts thinking ahead. You start building that clock, so that when you're playing with a group, you don't have to necessarily hear, okay, the drums need to be doing exactly this. You know, it used to be that when a drummer would do a fill, I would have a hard time keeping the sense of the time of beat, the sense of the beat, because I hadn't trained myself to think about, okay, this is the beat that's going on. And sometimes it still throws off friends of mine if the drummer doesn't do an exact beat, because you have to train yourself to think, okay, this is what's going on, this is what I need to do. Stuff happens, guys, you know. Drummers break sticks, we break guitar strings. I'm not saying that things will never happen. Things happen. But it's what you do in preparation that matters. You have to prepare yourself for the worst. You have to prepare yourself for that moment where everything goes blank. And all you have left is what you've been practicing, because that's what comes back. That's why you gotta practice these things. You gotta practice your picking. You gotta practice your fingering, because when your mind goes blank, you know, you're playing the song, your mind goes blank, and you're like, okay, what do I need to do now? Your mind can start to go back, and if you're on rhythm, you start remembering, okay, I don't remember what chord this is, but I know we're in this key, and I know the song's about to do this, so here, I can do this improv and get back into things and keep the music flowing. Yeah, it may not be exactly what I needed to do, but you've practiced for the point of, hey, I can do this. I can fill in the gap of when I don't remember. And that does happen, guys. It really does. Sorry, that was a bit of a rabbit trail. But getting back onto metronomes, it really will help you. I can't tell you how many times I've been playing with a band I was in, or at church, or just even having fun. Something happens to the drums, or something happens to the bass, or both. And all that's left is sometimes just the melody and a little bit of rhythm. And if you're not prepared, then the music can go really south, and just, it doesn't sound good, it doesn't feel good, because especially now, you feel like all eyes are on you. But when you practice, again, I'm coming back to the same thing because this is so important. When you practice these basics, when you practice your chord shapes, when you practice your scales, when you practice with the metronome, and even when you practice freestyle, all these things are going to come together to help you. With God's help and with His allowance, all these things are going to come together, and it's going to sound really good. You know? It may not always, because sometimes God's good enough to let us fail, so we realize we need Him. But sometimes He lets things happen in such a way that it's more beautiful than the way we would have done it before. So, what else can you do? I'm going to change the metronome beat a little bit on this. And I want to show you something. So I talked about running scales, and I literally mean that, guys. I want to show you. So I'm not nearly as much in practice as I wish I was. We're going to set this to about 120 beats per minute. Let's see what this is about. Okay. Sorry, it's not letting this work. So, gotta take that out and then regenerate this. So, side note, I'm using Audacity to record all this, and it's been pretty fun. I haven't had a lot of problems with Audacity, but except for right now. So, let's see. I'm still not playing, so I'll save you guys the trouble of that then, because I guess it's just not supposed to happen right now. But, guys, when you can, get a metronome. Practice. Keep practicing. You know? There's so much that you can do. There's so much to learn. And not just with metronome, guys. You know, I talk about one topic at a time sometimes on here, and then I'm like, oh man, what am I going to talk about next? Guys, music is a whole nother world. There's so many things to learn. There's rules to music, but those rules can get kind of confusing, and sometimes they're guidelines, you know? You have to do the exploring. You have to figure out what's there. You know? You have to pray. And you have to ask God, help me find something new. You know? Sometimes He's very good and He'll give us something. And it's amazing when He does. But I tell you, there's so much out there, guys. Anyways, time's running short. I'm just kind of blabbering right now, so I do apologize. Have an amazing night. I do hope to get this other video out soon. But God bless as you follow Him. Have a good night. Thank you guys so much for watching these. Later.